Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. Today we're talking about a bunch of Warner DC movies being delayed. Michael Giacchino is stepping into the director's chair, and we get our first real look at the upcoming season 3 of The Boys. All this and everything else that happened this week in Geek.
Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Hello, I'm J-Law, but you can call me Justin. And if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast celebrating the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things geek-centric. Joining me today is my fellow co-host from the East Side. We got Nate Shelton. How are you, buddy?
East Side represent. when it's the East Side of Canada, it's nowhere near as cool as you're making it out to be.
Yeah, but I was thinking you were going to be like, yeah, eh? You know, like really, really that Canadian East.
Coming from Nova Scotia, eh? I'm doing well. I wish the weather was better here. We tried to record Saturday, and I just got completely power outage, just completely shut down. It felt like my house was going to lift off, and I was going to have to fight the Wicked Witch of the East Coast. Like that's what it felt like. I was ready to go on an adventure. But yeah, man. Other than that, not too bad. I have a question for you, though.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
It's very important. I texted you and I said I've got a really important question for you that I need to bring up on the podcast, and I think it's something that we need to discuss because I do think it's something that's really it's at a lot of the hearts and minds of a lot of people, especially these days. It has to do with pizza toppings. I think, obviously I don't know if it's come up on the podcast before, if we have fully nailed it down or discussed it.
I don't think we've really talked about it. I don't think we've shared our opinion on the, do they call it accoutrements that go onto a pizza?
Let's just cut right to it. What everyone's thinking, pineapple. Obviously, that's kind of the elephant in the room, and I think we should address it. And I think as far as where I'm standing, I've always been a huge fan of pineapple on pizza. I think the moment you combine the sour, the sweet, and the spicy sometimes, you throw a few like hot peppers with those pineapples, that's where it becomes a game changer. And I think a lot of people, they look at pineapple, they think ham and cheese and pineapple, and that's it. They're limiting themselves at what's, obviously by layman's terms called a Hawaiian pizza. And I think they're really cutting themselves out of a great experience. What do you think? Well,
I would have to agree and disagree because I enjoy pineapple on pizza only when it is a Hawaiian. If it's like you got mushrooms, green peppers, black olives, pineapple, no, I'm out. It's like as soon as you get to that pineapple, I'm out. But if it's a Hawaiian, it's really good. And I think what you just described was actually a spicy Hawaiian. If you put some hot peppers
one.
You put a spicy one. And the funny thing about Hawaiian pizzas is that apparently it was started in Canada, maybe in Toronto, by a Greek chef, if you will, right?
Really?
Apparently.
It wasn't even a Hawaiian person.
This is an interesting factoid that actually got shared with me. And I never actually vetted it, but okay. I will share it with you here. So, yeah, the Hawaiian pizza is very much a product of sort of bastardizations of cultures all at once. But that being said, it does have its pluses. If you use barbecue sauce instead of tomato sauce on a Hawaiian pizza, chef's kiss.
Dude.
I'm telling you.
You go bacon. I'm telling you right now, you go bacon, pepperoni. I don't want none of that flat, weird pepperoni. I want the crispy pepperonis. Like, I want the New York style pepperonis, okay? Then you're going to pop on some, like, banana peppers. Then you're going to throw in, and I'll do the tomato sauce, but you throw some barbecue drizzled on top with the pineapples, my guy, and you got yourself, like, a hot Hawaiian, angry Hawaiian pizza. Dude.
Angry Hawaiian. I like that. That's a vicious name.
Let's go.
Cool.
Let's go.
We got to market that, and we also got to get something to eat. So let's get through this podcast so we can actually eat.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Let's get into the news.
It's all about the details.
Okay. Before we get into our first news story, I thought we could take a moment and acknowledge the sad news today. William Hurt died this Sunday. of natural causes at the age of 71. His son, Will, said in a statement, "It is with great sadness that the Hurt family mourns the passing of William Hurt, beloved father and Oscar-winning actor. He was 1 week away from his 72nd birthday, and he died peacefully among family of natural causes." Now, William Hurt has had a very lengthy career. As you said, he won an Oscar in 1985 for Kiss of the Spider Woman. And he starred in The Big Chill, Body Heat, and he appeared in Steven Spielberg's AI, Artificial Intelligence. I'm sure you've checked that one out, Nate. And and M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. But I personally remember him most from A History of Violence, because he wasn't in it for that much, but he was so engaging throughout the entire movie when he was on screen. He was very captivating, and that movie is based off of a comic book. I don't know if you ever had a chance to check it out, but it's a great watch. I think that's the one I'm going to probably go back and watch and enjoy of his movies.
Yeah, for me, he's always going to be John Robinson from Lost in Space, the 1998 version. And that movie has some quirks as well, but and it's interesting too, because I also remember him from The Village. I always remember him playing dad roles, but
Absolutely.
Not the kind of goofy dad, but the dad where you're you respect him. And I think he always had this air of respect whenever he was on screen, to the point where there was a little bit of intimidation, but there was also sort of this feeling of no, he's also going to take care of you. And I got a lot from a lot of his roles, even up until in Marvel, even as Thunderbolt Ross. Yes, he was very much the sort of the force to be reckoned with, but he also felt at times he was also there to try and help them as well.
Well, yeah, as you pointed out, us geeks are definitely going to feel this loss, because he has been so tied to the MCU, and he did have that commanding respect presence in the role of General THIS Ross, and he's been around since the very beginning. He was in 2008's The Incredible Hulk, which was with Edward Norton, and then he would continue to reprise the role of Ross throughout the rest of the MCU, like Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and Black Widow, which, when we saw him in Black Widow, I remember just thinking, he didn't look well, right? Yeah. So it was tough. It was tough at that point to sort of see, but I'm glad he was with family, and he was able to pass in peace, but he'll definitely be missed.
Yeah, our thoughts go out to obviously to the entire Hurt family, and I think just to what you were saying, I'm sure there's an air of surprise that comes with these things, but also I think the whole aspect of dying of natural causes, he was with his family at the time. He had an amazing legacy, a phenomenal career, and I think it's always a good idea at these times, whenever you get a chance, hop on his IMDb and go through and take some time to remember him, and maybe watch a few movies that he was in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with that, let's move into our first news story. Looks like Warner Brothers is shifting the release date for a variety of films. This comes to us from Eric Pedersen and Anthony D'Alessandro from Deadline. This past week, Warner Brothers made a slew of release date moves for some of their highest profile DC movies. The list is as follows. DC League of Super Pets moves from May 20th to July 29th. Black Adam moves from July 29th to October 21st. The Flash moves from November 4th to June 23rd, 2023.
Okay.
Aquaman now moves from December 16th to March 17th, 2023. So we got about another year for that. Jeez. And the funny thing is Shazam, Fury of the Gods, moves from June 2nd, 2023 to December 16th, 2022. I had to check, and that apparently seems to be right. So it's moving up in the schedule to help kind of readjust. But non-DC films were also affected. Wonka moves from March 17th, 2023 to December 15th, 2023. So that's better. I think that's more of a Christmassy kind of movie. But
It'll
were
be
you
it'll be interesting to see for sure.
See,
if
around
they,
the holidays?
if they maybe if they kind of theme it that way. I mean, I never really think of those movies as holiday movies, but I mean, listen, when you've got what's his name? When you've got
Timothy Chalamet.
When you've got the Chalamet.
Chalamet.
When you got Chalamet, you put him in a December movie. You give me 4 Chalamet movies in December, I'll be a happy boy. Okay?
Yeah,
Just make
it's
that
like 12
happen.
days of
WB.
Christmas, but like 4, right?
4 days of Chalamet, exactly.
Yeah, 4 days of Chalamet.
Yeah,
Meg 2, I don't know if you were a fan of Meg 1. I didn't even see it.
No.
Meg 2, The Trench, has been set for August 4th, 2023. So
That's
I
got to
don't
be
know,
the
that's
one
the
that
I
hits the
least
hardest.
cared about.
That's
exactly.
going to hit me, Justin.
Those Meg fans are going to be blatant.
Oh man.
But the article also does mention that a number of these movies, which are obviously visual effects heavy, are being pushed due to log jams that post-production effects houses are facing as productions have been ramped up during COVID. So The Flash alone has 2,500 visual effects shots. So I guess it's to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with movies, and I think the VFX aspect to movies is one that I don't think is thought enough about these days. I think we might have, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have kind of gotten to this place where visual effects have become so standard in terms of like, if they look really good, you don't notice them. And that's kind of become the norm for so many people that I don't think it's as thought about from a production standpoint. And realistically, visual effects, the way that they're kind of working, in my mind, I equate that to like video game developers, right? And obviously, over the past few years, there's been a ton of news stories just kind of condemning the aspect of crunch and crunch culture. And, I think, we used to celebrate crunch. I remember, years and years ago during the era of like the Xbox 360, Bethesda and some of these dev teams would be like shouting out like, we stayed up for 84 hours straight, like developing this one part of the game, like, woo, like tweeting this stuff out. And now we're very much seeing how detrimental that is to these people and their families. So from the standpoint of the VFX stuff, listen, if these people need that time to be able to do their job without having to crunch as much, all power to them. Push 100%. This stuff back. It's totally fine. And the crazy thing is, I'm not that big of a DC fan. I'd say the same thing about the Marvel teams as well if they had to.
Sure.
Especially with COVID and working from home. The only thing I will say, though, just from the standpoint of the DC movies, this, as much as, again, I'm all for it if they have to, but this in no way is helping them to clean up the DCEU. Like, it's going to be just as messy. Do you think it'll be still like, do you think they'll still have the ability to keep everything in line? Because even with Sony, like, we're starting to see with what's that one that's coming out that looks awful?
With
Morbius, right? Like, even with them, and we've got Keaton in it, right? And like, is that taking place before or after? Like, what's going on there?
Well, that's a whole other discussion.
Sure. But I'm saying with these DC movies, it feels like, are they going to keep them all straight? Are they going to be able to keep these characters in the same linear fashion with all these pushbacks? It just seems, I don't know, man. It just seems really freaky. I don't know if this is going to help them.
I think it will, actually, because I think it's smart that they're bringing out Shazam, which did do really well initially. Mm-hmm. They're bringing that up, and they're also going to put Black Adam, a couple months before. That creates, this sort of pocket narrative with those two characters, because those two characters do have a history. And we do already know that Flash and Aquaman have a history. So that can be their 2023 set of DC movies.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I'm happy that we're not losing DC League of Super Pets too far into the future. Like, I'm happy. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then the only thing I will say, though, for my boy Chalamet, like, he's got a tough job now, because now not only is he bringing back the character of Wonka, he's going up against Avatar 2. Like, are you sure about this, Warner Bros? Like, are you sure you want to do that?
see-
Maybe push it one more month?
No, I think again, this will play on a different trope of the holiday vibe. Like, I don't think this is going to be holiday themed, but from stills and sets, it does look very wintry. So that will feel holiday-esque. You know how they can do that in Hollywood, right? Like they put out a movie that isn't holiday.
They can market it that way. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. I don't know. To go up against the big Disney and the kids in blue, like it'll be tough. I know that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not going to be watching Wonka on December 15th. He's going to be in line for Avatar 2 for sure. He's a huge Avatar fan. Don't you remember?
Yeah, I know. I do know though. Come 2023, you'll probably be in a lineup at Universal Studios Hollywood when
yeah, buddy.
Super Nintendo World opens. This article comes to us from Adele Ankers over at IGN. So next year, Super Nintendo World will open in the U.S. The first Super Nintendo World theme park area in the U.S. will open at Universal Studios Hollywood in 2023, with themed merchandise making its way onto shelves ahead of the land's debut. Announced by Universal Studios, next year, theme park guests will be able to visit a newly expanded area of Universal Studios Hollywood. The themed land brings visitors into the brightly colored world of Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach, including a groundbreaking ride and interactive areas. Themed shopping and dining aim to enhance the experience. The park is a partnership between Nintendo and Universal Creative, aiming to deliver exhilarating entertainment with innovative technology achievements inspired by characters and video games that have appealed to generations of Nintendo fans for over 40 years. Before that 2023 opening, Universal will be releasing related merchandise such as Mario and Luigi themed apparel, character hats, and a selection of plush characters including Yoshi, Mario, Bowser, and Luigi that will be stocked at Universal Studio Hollywood's feature presentation retail store, which will open soon with new Super Nintendo World theming. It's pretty dope, man. Have you seen some of the stuff from Japan? Like the stuff that they
I have been doing the thing with my hands where I kind of hold my hands up, but then I open them up a little bit to peek a little bit. I've seen the exteriors. I've seen some of the food, some of the merch. I've really tried to stay away from any sort of POV ride along videos online. Like, I'm sure there's a ton of them out there, but I really want to kind of see that for myself come 2023 or later. And dude, it's just, it makes so much sense, right? With this kind of collab. Obviously, Universal Studios already big with Minions and Illumination Studios, who's doing the Mario movie. So it'll be interesting to see kind of once that's out, if that's going to be part of a big push at this park. I'm pretty sure that should line up, right?
It probably will, because if I'm not mistaken, the Mario movie will be releasing 2022 at the end of 2022,
right,
in December,
end of this year.
So to go into 2023, you're about right. They would probably help influence, and we might see some of that merch show up there. But it totally makes sense in terms of what already the existing license agreements that are already in place, but also like it just makes sense for Nintendo to build out this world in this way. Like, some of the interactive qualities at the parks is next level. Like, it's really fun. Like, you're literally running around finding things. Like, it's kind of it looks like it's going to be a great time. The Mario Kart ride looks cool, right? It you know what I mean? Yeah, it looks cool, but it looks very much like, it reminded me of the Toy Story one in Hollywood Studios at Disney World. You know, the one that
where you shoot everything.
Yeah. It reminded me of that, but obviously there's no. I don't know if there probably will be shooting, because it is Mario Kart, so you might be able to throw things,
throw a shell or something.
Sure. Yeah, you might be doing stuff like that, but it looked like there was a track, and there's a headset that you wear and stuff like that. It looked pretty interesting, but I don't know.
So it is VR based kind of thing. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
There's
like, you think that's kind of what they're doing?
Well, yeah, they had people with headsets, and it's not VR. I think it's AR. Is that it?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
augmented reality.
Yeah, augmented reality. That's it. Augmented reality is what it is. So it looks cool, man. I'm definitely interested. We'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know if I would be able to be there on opening day. I feel like you'll be there. Like you'll ban.
I just want to eat like a dude. I want like a Princess Peach cobbler.
I want their burger. Their burger looks really good. The mushroom burger that they have, because it's all.
Oh, yeah.
It's all. What's the mushroom's name again?
Toad? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
is
Toad's-
it
it's
colored
to-
like Toad?
No, it's Toad's restaurant. So it's like it's.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's really really
That's
interesting.
pretty dope.
So
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I do. Again, I'm trying to like stay a close eye on it, but not too close. But dude, I did hear, and again, you're gonna say like, "Oh, you're never satisfied," but I did hear in Japan that they might be expanding a Pokemon expansion into the Nintendo world. So there's rumors that that's happening, and if that does, and they bring it to Universal Studios, dude, like
Well,
Pokemon Go in real life, like come on.
well, that's really interesting too, because then you're really giving a breath to your video game worlds, and also if they're all attached together, like if you have to go through Mario World to get to Pokemon World, dude, that would be amazing.
Dude.
And they're probably already thinking about it too with Pokemon Go. Like you
Yeah.
said, like that's an interactive game that people can play all
built
throughout.
right into the thing they already have in their pockets, right? And if there's a special, maybe you've got a certain zone that you can only get the, this Pokemon here, or, they have events or things like that can go through the phone. I think there's so much that they can do.
Brilliant.
And it'll be interesting to see how much they sort of are going to, how much COVID is going to affect their design decisions.
Sure.
Right? The idea of interacting with a headset sounds a little bit freaky right now, because you're putting people's sweaty grossness on your face. But with your own phone, right? Maybe it can track a little bit better. Maybe it wouldn't be as crazy. But I think we take these things one step at a time. And yeah, man, let's go. Can we go? I'm gonna buy tickets right now.
Yeah, good luck trying to find them. They're probably already on eBay for like $1 bajillion.
A bajillion coins. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's get to our next news story. Composer Michael Giacchino is up to direct Marvel's latest Halloween special. This comes from Boris Kitt of The Hollywood Reporter. Michael Giacchino has been tapped to direct Marvel's untitled Halloween special, which will be gearing up later this month in Atlanta. Little is known about the project, which is sometimes referred to as Werewolf by Night, although sources say that this won't be the actual title when it airs later this year. Gael Garcia Bernal and Laura Donnelly are starring in the 1 hour story, with sources believing that Bernal is playing a werewolf. Werewolf by Night was a comic published by Marvel in the 1970s, and it centered around a man named Jack Russell who plays the werewolf. The comic is also known for actually being the introduction to Moon Knight in issue number 32. So that's kind of interesting, given the fact that this year we will be getting Moon Knight, obviously, very soon.
Yeah.
In recent years, though, the werewolf concept was revamped as a new character of Native American descent, and music was a story point as it helped the character control his body, morphing. It's really funny that Michael Giacchino is being picked for this, because he's obviously known as one of Hollywood's most prolific composers.
Dude.
He got his breakthrough, obviously, from Pixar in 2004 with The Incredibles, which pretty much cemented his relationship with that company. He did Ratatouille, Up, which he won an Oscar for. Cars 2, right? He did Inside Out. He did Incredibles 2,
Coco,
and now he's doing Lightyear.
Doing Lightyear.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then he has strong ties to J.J. Abrams, your favorite show. He did Lost.
So good.
He rebooted Star Trek, and he already has the Marvel connection, as we know, from Doctor Strange, the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy he did, and right now you can hear his music in theaters with the Batman on the big screen. And this summer he's got Jurassic World and Thor: Love and Thunder, which we should have gotten a trailer for, but
We didn't.
This guy is so busy, and he's going to direct a 1 hour short, which sounds really fitting for him, though. It sounds like the perfect story.
I mean, you got to imagine, right? Like this guy's freaking. He's the GOAT. Like he's the GOAT. Like don't get me wrong. Like Ludwig Göransson is getting there. He's having a great few years, right? And of course, John Williams will forever be the one and only, but Giacchino is just he's killing it. And I think the biggest thing that I'm kind of happy about with this news, because I think a lot of people will sort of think like, oh, a composer's directing a movie, like that's strange. But you got to imagine this guy's probably been in so many productions and seen so much. He's probably had the master class of all master classes of seeing firsthand how these movies are directed. And so you got to imagine he's probably absorbed so much and learned so much. I'm not sure what his actual sort of background is from an education standpoint when it comes to movie making, but he's definitely had a good amount of time to study up with these other creators.
Yeah, I think, again, we underestimate the fact that when you're composing a score, you are very much involved in the story process, right? And he was very much involved in the story process for Matt Reeves' Batman. He sent early drafts of his score to Reeves early on when they were still just kind of developing, and it got him going. And he has directed movies. He has directed shorts, and it seems very fitting that you would bring someone who is obviously so tied to music to tell this specific story, if that might be a character point.
I'm hearing the Kevin Feige right now saying that in an interview. Like 100%, like he's on the red carpet of this premiere for this special or whatever, or maybe he's on a Disney conference thing or whatever, and he's just saying like, he's like, yeah, I mean, he literally says like it's so fitting. But yeah, man, I'm stoked for this. I think he's gonna do a phenomenal job, and I'm really excited to see kind of what he can do going forward. Because as you said, like you got to imagine him doing, the whole like going up to a director and saying, what does the character feel like? Just like how an actor would maybe be like, what is my character's motivation right now? Where's the headspace at? That's exactly what a composer has to do when they're creating like themes for each character.
For sure.
When
It's
they're
a
creating
balance, though.
music for each moment.
It's a
right?
balance, though,
Yeah.
right? Like it is working with the director to feel that out. But as a musician, you feel like you have to really kind of go explore that. And then you bring it back, and then you have that discovery with the director. But it is understanding those key narrative points and being able to dictate that in the musical score. So I think it's very fitting. I also feel like, though, someone like Michael Giacchino.
Now, the real question is, who composes the music for this special? Is it going to be him? Is he going to do
might.
both jobs?
He could.
Yeah.
He could.
Okay. I believe in him.
Or maybe he does. Maybe he does pass that wisdom on. He goes the other direction. So I'm excited. If again, this was like nowhere in this article does it say it's confirmed. This is probably more on the speculation scale. But it when it shows up in a Hollywood Reporter, it's almost close to certain if there's good sourcing. So hopefully this is how it all plans out. But yeah, I'm excited to see this.
Very cool.
Cool. I'm also very excited to see Deadpool 3 whenever that comes out, because Sean Levy is set to direct Ryan Reynolds in this Marvel movie, which is pretty crazy. This article comes from Ryan Parker at the Hollywood Reporter. The director is in negotiations to team up with star Ryan Reynolds for the Marvel property after previously collaborating on 20th Century's pandemic-era hit Free Guy and the just-released sci-fi adventure, which Nate was a huge fan of. Absolutely loved it. Go listen to our spoiler.
It was all right.
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it a lot more than Nate. But yeah, The Adam Project, which dropped on Netflix this past weekend. This will be the first Deadpool film following Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, which released the first two installments. But this news obviously comes on the heels of Disney announcing it would be moving its more mature Netflix series over to Disney Plus. Those shows include Daredevil and Punisher, which along with Deadpool, that is that mature content, if you will. The first two Deadpool films are currently not available on Disney Plus, which the article says, and I could have sworn that they were, but maybe I'm just imagining it. But we're also in Canada. Could be on ours.
Is it on Star?
It could be on Star. It could be on Star. And there was concerns at a time that Marvel might not necessarily continue with this R-rated approach. But Bob Iger basically said, yeah, it can remain R-rated. but he ain't around anymore. So I don't know if that's gonna actually happen. You know, Chapnick might skew differently, but we'll see.
You know what? Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are definitely on, at least in Canada, Disney Plus. I don't know, because when you do the search function, it doesn't necessarily say this is from Star or this is from Disney Plus. But yeah, man, I'm very intrigued. It's really funny though that like like Sean Levy, who's known for doing more family friendly stuff, is doing the next Deadpool movie. But at the same time, you know, it just the people that he chooses to work with. Walker Scobell, who's in the Atom Project. It was so cute. I saw a video of him that got put on the internet that Ryan Reynolds was just recording him in the back. He was sitting in the back of a car, literally word for word, you know, saying, I think it was Deadpool 1. I think he was like recanting the entire script for Deadpool 1
because it's the opening monologue for Deadpool's character.
Unreal.
Right? So
unreal.
Yeah, it's funny. I was hinting at this in our spoiler free, and I wish I had said it because then it would have just been on the record. But the way that these two have been working together, it's only a matter of time before they did this, right? Like they transitioned to doing the Disney movie. They like Free Guy had comical leisures and did have the sort of fourth wall breaking tropes, if you will, that we expect from Deadpool. I would say to a certain degree with the Atom Project, while it didn't have that, it had the sort of adventure quality. And I think if you smash those two together and up to an R rating, you could probably have it, and maybe have better writing and a villain that really does work.
Matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, if they keep it raunchy, if they keep it violent, you know, I think obviously Ryan Reynolds is going to bring his Deadpool A game for
sure.
For any.
He
Deadpool
already did it in the last
movie.
two movies we just talked about. So
Exactly.
It's just
So right. So I think it would be pretty cool. I am very excited to see Deadpool embrace the MCU. I'm interested to see if by the time we get this movie, I mean, maybe we'll find out in a few months if the X-Men will maybe be a bigger part of this movie and the MCU going forward. Because, I mean, obviously in Deadpool 2, we got that moment where he sees the X-Men, right? And was that Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 1? One of them. We've seen him interact with them before. And so the idea of kind of having this crazy kooky character running through multiverses and are, you know, kind of as a theme of phase 4 of the MCU is awesome to me.
That's a good idea.
It's one of those things that could be really cool.
That's a really good idea. I think I really like that, is how he just falls through a multiversal portal and like you make his character matter. And you like more so like you don't just take him for the joke that he is, right? Like I feel like the last two movies, they have fun with it, but they don't really showcase the heroism. They're making light of the character of Deadpool. If you go that Marvel route of highlighting the heroism, but really create like a really weird story out of it, and you entwine that multiversal sort of like he's just time jumping and going through different times, that's a really cool idea.
And it could be really cool because like I'm just really stoked for the idea that maybe the movie that we're introduced to him in, maybe it's new to him, maybe the aspect of multiverses doesn't really play in, but I would love to see sort of a character growth of him truly becoming the fourth wall breaking Deadpool, because obviously he is, but like the one that like is taking advantage of the universe around him and using it for every single aspect that it can provide, just in the sense of like he could go from not knowing really what multiverses are to eventually we get a movie where we just see Deadpool pop up and we're like, oh, okay, here we go. He knows what to do, and he's going to take these characters on a ride. So I think it would be really, really dope. I would want to see him maybe even in like a buddy cop Marvel movie. Would be really fun. Like him, like who would you partner Deadpool up with from our MCU existing? Like,
I don't know.
Maybe him and Thor would be
pretty
phenomenal.
You could do that. It would be cool to see him and Peter Quill together, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But like, I'm not sure. I think the future of new characters that they can bring into the MCU and who he can interact with would be great. I think if you're going to go really the opposite end, Doctor Strange does make the most sense. Like when someone was saying like, "Oh, he'll show up in Doctor Strange," I was like, that actually would make sense, even if it was just a cameo as like an introduction to show you how he ends up in the MCU world before we go and tell his story. Dude. Again, this is all under the impression that there's a script. Like the screenwriters Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick are returning to the franchise, and they actually worked on the first two. So like they're going to have a big task. Sean Levy's going to have a big task. Because again, I'm not 100% sold on Sean Levy. He's so heartfelt though. Like he loves what he does, but it's just like, I don't understand why the villain was the villain in The Atom Project. Just go see the movie if you haven't seen the
movie to know what we're talking about. But Lizzie Molyneux Loughlin, who's known for Bob's Burgers, apparently did work on a script for the third movie, and so it'll be interesting to kind of see if they pull from that in any way, if they've restarted it. Obviously, time will tell, but. Yeah, man, I'm just stoked that he's coming to the MCU and that this is one step closer to seeing it. And dude, and just maybe a buddy cop with just him and Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, buddy cop, Deadpool movie.
I think that's long gone. That's long gone.
Just it's not.
He wants it really bad.
Justin, multiverses. We can do anything we want. Okay,
it's about signing Hugh Jackman. Okay, well, only time will tell. And speaking of time, let's move right into trailer time.
It's trailer time.
All right, our first trailer that we're talking about, it's actually a full trailer this time, where we're talking about The Boys Season 3 hitting Amazon Prime June 3rd. Very excited for this. If you know The Boys, then you know, but I'll catch you up to speed here. We got Carl Urban, Jack Quaid, Anthony Starr, Aaron Moriarty, Laz Alonso, Chase Crawford, Jesse T. Usher, Dominic McElliott, and Karen Fukuhara. Plus, we got our first look at Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy and Laurie Holden as Crimson Countess.
Yeah.
There's no synopsis, but this teaser was nuts.
Dude.
This is the perfect amount of information to give me. I actually don't want another trailer before we get into season 3. I think that was enough for me to get me excited for it.
Dude, I'm ready to go. I love the way that they've, at least with all the trailers we've gotten, but in the past, they time it to the music. We get the quick cut timing. We get the cocking of the Glocks. Yep. This time to Bones by Imagine Dragons, and this looks cool, man. It looks like the boys are taking Compound V, which I remember reading somewhere that in the comics they eventually take it. So it looks like Butcher's going to kind of become the thing he hates, which I'm really intrigued by. Looks like he's got laser eyes, much like Homelander. And I'm also just it looks like Huey might get the ability to heal, because we see Kimiko breaking his arm, and I feel like it's going to be some sort of joke where Billy Butcher's going to be like, well, it didn't tell you it wouldn't hurt, just that you could heal from it, or something like that, and they would laugh, and he'd throw a cigarette in his face or something. But I love the dark humor we're seeing in this again, the commentary that they kind of have at the same time with seeing the cops at the protest being stopped by A-Train, and then it looks really heroic, but
it's a commercial.
It's a commercial for a soft drink.
Yeah, and it says everything about the character, right, in that moment, where he's at. Yeah. So I feel like the teaser does a really good job at least, again, leveling the playing field, as you said on Twitter. Just kind of allowing that, and I guess spoilers if you haven't watched The Boys Diabolical, but coming off of that and seeing that entire miniseries and seeing how Compound V was so integral, it makes sense that you would cap this off with a teaser that very much hints at our anti-heroes becoming the things that they hate, as you said, Nate. So I think it's a really good way to get you excited for what to anticipate.
Dude, the fact that they're continuing the joke of Aquaman having sex with fish by showing the deep, he's going deep, and then he's got his eyes locked on an octopus. It's just It's honestly, this is the kind of humor that I love that we can get out of our superhero content, because Marvel's not going to give it to us. DC's probably, unless we're talking Peacemaker, like they're going to stay away from it, I think, in their mainline movies. So to see it here, I think TV is a great way to deliver it. And as you said, we get our first look at the Crimson Countess, who is like this world's version of Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
And yeah, she's played by Laurie Holden, who, did I ever tell you that she plays Andrea on The Walking Dead, but did I ever tell you that I almost met her? Like I literally was feet away from her. I was in full Wreck-It Ralph cosplay.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Expo.
Yeah, you told me.
Did I tell you this?
Yeah.
And I was inside of we were passing at the same time at the hotel in the revolving door. I just gave her like this really stupid face and wave, and she gave me the dirtiest look. Like, she was not impressed, but I'm very stoked to see her. I'm stoked to see her in this, because I never really liked the character of Andrea too much, and not just because she gave me a weird look when I was waving at her dressed as Wreck-It Ralph, but but I am excited to see her in this and see how I think it would be cool if maybe she is she going to be a bad character? Is she going to be a good character? But dude, I think the biggest.
You called it, though. It was the fact that she looked like she had a power set and as very similar to Scarlet Witch, and the fact that she's called Crimson Countess is it's very very fitting.
It's right on the nose.
And seeing,
they don't try too hard.
And seeing Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, right, is pretty cool. And I know Joanne, who was on the podcast, she has a thing for him. So that's hilarious.
100%. Who wouldn't have? Are you kidding me?
He's so dreamy.
He's very dreamy. And it looks like they're going to be doing kind of the Captain America thing.
Yeah.
He's going to be unfrozen. I do think though that he's going to be a really terrible person.
Like Homelander.
And it feels like but like worse. And I feel like Vought is going to. Vought is probably going to use him in their marketing as a way to say, like, see, we don't stand for Nazis, like we don't like Stormfront at all. We didn't even know she was a Nazi, and then we're all about America. Here's America's hero back again. We unfroze him or something. Like, they're going to try and play the corporate aspect of just being like, no, we're for America. And here's America's ass.
Well, it's interesting to bring in Soldier Boy at this point, because I feel like he's more of an antagonist to Homelander. Like, after the events of what happened in season 2, where things are left off, there's obviously animosity between Butcher and Homelander, but they'll inevitably find each other again. But I think through Soldier Boy is going to be very much that sort of spark, if you will, to their feud, if you will.
But I feel like Soldier Boy, I could see them almost bringing in an aspect of Peacemaker into him, in the sense of, like, he's going to be so much for justice, and he's going to come across as such a soldier boy, such a good American boy, that he's going to do some terrible things in order to do what he thinks is the greater good. And I'm really intrigued to see, because I think Jensen Ackles can really play that, like the kind of character that you want to be really good and you want to love, and he's so charming, but at the same time
he's awful.
Yeah.
That sounds like Homelander too.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Homelander, it's almost going to be like the Jurassic Park, like the 2 T-Rex situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Where, him and Homelander's going to see him as a threat to be the more popular one, right? And obviously Homelander's got a lot of issues that way. But I hope we do get to see more Victoria. I think it would be cool if she's president by the end of this season, and she's blowing minds. And I also I'm wondering what happened to Cindy. She's the bald woman who, do you remember she escaped the asylum? And she can blow people up. I think if she joined with the boys now, especially now that they're going to be getting superpowers, like, that would be really dope. Like, if they can find a way to kind of expand the team that way,
right.
And kind of play off of that, because she is a force to be reckoned with, and I don't think we've seen the last of her.
No, we 100% haven't. I think that that was a loose thread for a reason. So we'll see.
Yeah, man.
So we won't have to wait too long. Like I said, June 3rd, so it's just right around the corner. But I'm very excited to see.
It's gonna be busy, dude.
It's going to be busy.
Busy.
Especially as we get to other trailers that we're talking about here. Let's get to our next trailer, which we don't actually have to wait that much longer either. It's actually towards the end of March here, March 24th, 2022. And this is Halo, the series that's hitting Paramount Plus. We already got a teaser that was very underwhelming, but needless to say, this was far better. This series is going to be starring Pablo Schreiber, Jen Taylor, Natasha McElhone, Danny Sapani, Bokeem Woodbine, and Yureen Ha. There's obviously a lot of other people that I might have missed in that cast list, but those were the ones that I immediately found right off the bat. This synopsis is Master Chief, a cybernetically enhanced super soldier, defends humanity from the alien covenant in the 26th century. Now, I was never, I think we talked about this in the teaser, I was never a big Halo gamer. I wasn't an Xbox gamer. I know, Nate, this is your bread and butter. But I was actually really... I found this trailer far better than the teaser. It leaned more into the cinematic. It had more of this sort of world-building elements. It still looks a little plasticky and cheap. I think that's what you said last time about some of the looks.
The visuals are still leaving a little to be desired, for sure.
For sure, but it seems like there's more hook here narratively versus in the teaser that just it tried to be some sort of like sizzle reel, hype reel, if you will, but it didn't really land.
Like, again, no shade to "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins, like a phenomenal song, but use it in the right places. This Halo series is not the right place to put a song like that, and I just felt like this trailer fit the tone of what I think they're going to be going for with this series so much more. I had a little bit of prayer and hope that the piano that we hear at the beginning of the trailer was going to play the Halo theme song, but it didn't. I don't think we're actually going to get. We did get that at the tail end of the trailer, but I think that was them.
That was great. Yeah, that was
using
great.
it. I don't think it's actually going to be in the show, but we'll see. I thought that this looks good. It looks like it's going to focus on the events before Halo Reach, which if you're a Halo gamer, you know that's taking place before Halo 1. And I think eventually this might get into the games, but it also kind of looks like they're kind of going a different direction with things too. It feels like with these additional characters, we're going to get more storyline than just from Master Chief, and Yaren Ha seems like she's going to really carry that side of the show. So I'm really stoked for that aspect of it. But dude, there's so much Halo in even just this trailer. Like, we see all the weapons we'd want. We see the ships. Yep. We see the Pelicans. We see like the Gatling gun. Like, there's a ton in it. And at one point we see what looks like one of the prophets. I think it's the High Prophet of Mercy, because he was around prior to the events of Halo, and he's like the oldest of the prophets. But it could also be the Prophet of Truth, because one of the characters says the truth could bring us all down. So I'm wondering if they're gonna, kind of use that wordplay or what have you. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm stoked. Like, do you think it looks like they're kind of humanizing Master Chief a little bit more? We see like
way more
flashbacks of him as a kid, right? Like, so do you think with Pablo Schreiber, who's he's Master Chief, do you think we're going to get to see him more than someone like Pedro Pascal in like Mandalorian, for instance?
I don't know. I actually think that they're probably going to go the Mandalorian route, because it can work. Maybe what we do is we see a younger version of Master Chief, but
right.
That scene at the end when they're jumping out of the plane.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That was epic. Dude. That was a great way to end that trailer too.
It was so cool.
And he looks super badass when he's fighting, right? Like the fight sequences when he's fighting these Covenant aliens, like he's just tearing them down, and it was really epic. It looks like too that there's going to be, I guess, this sort of moral dichotomy between, I guess, cybernetic and human or something. I don't know enough about the world of Halo to understand it, but it seems like there's a conspiracy or a political sort of nature around who these cybernetic enhanced super soldiers are, and if they maybe just go full robots. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because Natasha McElhone, who plays Catherine Halsey, she's basically the mastermind behind the Spartan program. and a lot of that has to do with, in the storyline of like taking young boys and young girls and pulling them out of their family basically, and they're conditioning them to become these super soldiers. So there is a lot of sort of skeletons in her closet, so to speak, that I think they're going to really explore with this. Shabani Azmi, I think I'm pronouncing that, plays Admiral Margaret Parangoski, who I don't quite remember from the games, but she seems like she might be sort of the antithesis to Halsey. She's probably going to be the one to try and shut down the Spartan Project as they try to look into other means of carrying forward. But I'm excited for Master Chief. I'm more excited for Silver Team. I'm excited to see them, that shot of them, as you said, jumping out of the Pelican was so cool. Dude, Bokeem Woodbine is playing Soren 066, and I'm amped because he is so freaking good in everything he does. So to see him in this storyline, I think is going to be really cool. So I'm excited because it feels like they're actually, number one, this was a much better trailer, and it really speaks to the idea of like, put your best foot forward. Don't put the sizzle reel ahead of this. And also, I think the fact that they are seemingly going in a different direction, they are going to focus on these characters. I'm praying, Justin, that the performances and the narrative will kind of outweigh the really not great CGI. And I'm really hoping, because again, this Halo is all about the big battles, right? So if we're going to get into big battles with tons of ships and things like that, like either they're saving their money for those shots and we haven't seen them yet, which is appreciated in a trailer, but at the same time, like I don't know, and I don't know if that's going to be distracting, if their armor being a little plasticky is going to be distracting. I really hope not. So I'm almost more excited for the additional characters and the new storylines than I am for them adapting Halo. But much better trailer, dude.
I don't think that this would need that. Like, I like that they stayed very focused on characters and sort of, again, as I was referring to, this sort of political situation that might be in the background of who these cybernetic enhanced super soldiers are and what that future looks like. That being said, I think, keeping it grounded and keeping it focused on the characters at least brings an audience in and allows them to get hooked to that, rather than the spectacle of just seeing these epic battles brought out. And maybe that is something that you really do push, and maybe that doesn't get really seen in the first season. You wait, because if I'm not mistaken, they've already been greenlit for season 2.
Yeah.
And for some people who have were able to get early access to screeners, they've watched the first 2 episodes, and there's some praise that people have for the show. So
that's awesome.
It sounds like this trailer came out with the right tone, not like the first one, which, as you were saying, like, put your best foot forward. And this would have probably hit better that Super Bowl weekend or just before, whenever they released it. And it would have probably had a bit more of a resonating excitement to it, because like now seeing this, I'm a little bit more interested in watching this series now.
This was a sci-fi ass trailer. Whereas, and it was epic, right? Whereas the original trailer felt like they were trying to push towards general audiences. Obviously, with them putting that up during the Super Bowl, like maybe they're like, people aren't going to know Halo, but they definitely know Phil Collins.
Really?
So maybe, I don't know, man. Like,
really?
I'm trying to justify it in any way
I
possible as to why they made that decision. But I think
it was a hype
kind of
reel.
Yeah,
maybe. I think it was more of a hype reel. They were trying to do more of a teaser-esque approach to it by giving you the hints. It didn't work, because especially that score, it takes you right out. Like, that music just took you right out. So at least here, like you said, at the end, we got that at the end, which is so signature. And it's like you didn't even put that in the teaser, but here in this Take 2 trailer, we have it. So March 24th, 2022. I know you'll be watching it. We'll definitely be probably checking it out if we can here in Canada. If Paramount Plus is listening, please let us know if we'll be able to watch that.
Find a way.
All right, let's get to our next trailer that actually dropped today, which I'm super stoked for. We got to talk about Ms. Marvel, our first real look at this series. Everything up to this point has just been stills and sizzle reel stuff. But we got our first real look at this series hitting Disney Plus June 8th, 2022. So yes, it's going to be a busy summer, bro. If we're doing watch clubs for the boys and Ms. Marvel, we'll figure that
Obi-Wan,
stuff out later.
dude, like
my, and that's really interesting because this date, it definitely overlaps with Star Wars and Marvel, which apparently was a Disney Plus no, but I don't think Disney Plus ever said anything about that. I think it's more or less they just try to, separate the two, unless of course, Obi-Wan's going to be a little bit lesser in episodes. Like there's rumors that it's 6, but I've also heard 4 episodes.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know. So, it might just be a short sort of stint rather than maybe 2 or 3 weeks where they're really layering on top of each other. But that being said, we do have a really outstanding cast in this series. They just represent such the world that we live in today is what I've heard it referred to as. We have Canadian actor Iman Vellani from Markham, Ontario. She's playing the titular character of Kamala Khan. We have Farad Khan. We have Aramis Knight, Matt Lintz, Mohan Kapoor, and Sagar Shaikh. I apologize if I've missaid any of those names. I'm very excited to see this series, man. For those who don't know, obviously, this is a miniseries created by Bisha K. Ali for the streaming service of Disney Plus, based on the Marvel comic character Kamala Khan, also known as Ms. Marvel. I've watched the trailer like so many times since it dropped this morning, and there's just so much to pull away from it, especially in the like first little bit, like how they perceive her life in a sort of comic book frame with illustrations and drawings to sort of hit this idea that she's living, as the trailer does, she's living in a fantasy world. She's immersed in this sort of pop culture world, if you will, or superhero culture world, that has created this disillusion that a lot of people around her seem to be saying, like, you got to get your head out of those clouds and start making your life decisions. But that's what's actually really so cool about this character, is that she is a fan of superheroes and of superhero culture, if you will. And that's what's going to make her really great. Like, I love the Avengers shirt that she's wearing, which I identified Captain Marvel, Valkyrie, but who was the third person? Was it Wasp? I think it was Wasp.
Could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
It was all strong, powerful women, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that looks like the kind of shirt that she would buy from a Disney store. Like, it literally looks like I've seen that shirt.
They'll probably sell that
on sale. They probably already do. This trailer was absolute fire. I love the aesthetic, the treatment for the Marvel logo, and just how it's all, like, again, kind of drawn and cartoony and in speech bubbles, like the way they're saying. I really do hope that this is actually going to be playing into the show. I hope they use this aesthetic while she's daydreaming or she's imagining things, because that was so dope. And, coming off our spoiler-free and filled reviews for Turning Red, this is a perfect Marvel follow-up to that. Like, this trailer is hitting right at the right time to speak to, again, a younger audience, a female-led driven movie or a show that looks like it's going to be also filled with a lot of culture as well. And the music for this trailer was so fitting. You got The Weeknd coming in, and she's using her powers that's, blinding light, right? So that kind of really works. And it's interesting, though, like, on the note of her powers, because I had a friend of mine text me as soon as the trailer dropped, and he's like, why are they changing it? And I feel like she's still going to get her embiggen powers. Like, you see the fist at one point. But I think that they're trying to align them more with Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau's power set. Like, aesthetically, I think they're with her being cosmic more, don't you think?
Sure, I 100% agree, but I also think they're aligning it to Shang-Chi. Like, if you see that she puts on that cuffling, and it's a ring, and then she becomes cosmic. So right. I'm wondering if there's going to be a correlation between the power set of her character. Again, the whole notion of what they're doing here in the MCU is adapting from the comics. They're taking what works and bringing it over and making it altered for this. This MCU is not the Marvel comics that we know. It's a parallel, it's a reimagination of some of those things. So if they can find ways to sort of connect the dots with what's already going on, I'm okay with that. But to your point, the power set, we saw that. We saw her hand get big and punch, right? Like we saw those elements. It does kind of remind me more of like Green Lantern. You know how like Green Lantern can imagine things and make things out of his hands and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how they do this, because it even looks at one point like she goes into the negative zone, which I was doing a bit of research on, and it's where the Fantastic Four get their powers from. And so I was just kind of thinking, like, with Reed Richards eventually coming into the fold, like, we know they're doing Fantastic Four, it's maybe they're trying to separate her from him visually as well, but I also think that maybe this is going to kind of tee up that storyline, those characters, and I'm also wondering if we could even see, in a way, like maybe she does sort of develop back into those traditional embiggen powers, because I don't know, maybe she wants to try to become more of her own hero. Like during Miss Marvel, she kind of goes through this crisis of like, am I trying to be too much like Carol Danvers? Like, should I try to be my own person? And I'm wondering if they're going to kind of maybe play off that a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right to call out the fact that this, it's because we've had such rich discussions around Turning Red and this sort of coming of age story. This very much feels like a Marvel version of that, with, a very culturally specific centered character that is so integral to, I think, the audience. Like if we think about it, there's a whole slew of kids of Pakistani, Indian, any sort of background that feels reminiscent of Kamala Khan. They're going to see themselves in this story. So, and also just the fact that she's a female that is kind of going through this coming of age story. Again, something that we've seen with sort of Peter Parker through 3 movies. I feel like this series is going to kind of deal with a lot of that, right? So I'm very excited. I'm really stoked to see how this is all going to play out. I think it's the actual perfect timing for a series like this. Yeah,
man. I'd also like to really see her, if she's like the lead for the initiative of kicking off the Young Avengers. Like if this is where we're kind of going with these younger heroes, and this is our first look at that, I think it's awesome. I think Iman Vellani seems like she is, even just based off this trailer, like perfect for this role.
Oh, yeah, and, absolutely.
Dude, the shot at the end was practically straight from the comic books. Like her in her full costume, sitting on the
that's
lamp
a cover.
Or whatever.
It's a cover. Yeah.
It's so perfect, dude. I'm so stoked. And I also think, honestly, with Moon Knight coming up, for them to shift and go with this lighter tone is really smart and really refreshing for the MCU. So to kind of go really dark with Moon Knight, and I feel like they're going to push that and really push to see how dark they can get, especially moving into Multiverse of Madness. I think with this is going to be like, okay, you can breathe for a couple seconds here. We're going to have a fun poppy adventure of this young high school girl. I'm so amped for this, dude. This looks really fun.
Oh yeah, this looks great. It's the exact sort of tone that I would want. It sort of, again, referencing a coming of age high school story. It's taking that same sort of Peter Parker tone, but flipping the script, putting it in Jersey, focusing it on a girl of Pakistani American background. Like it's got all of these nuances of something that feels familiar yet fresh. And again, like the stills, the visuals, right out of the comics, I absolutely love it. And there's such an honesty and a truth to Iman Vellani's performance. Like that last scene where it fades. Do you know what you are? And it fades, and she comes back. She's like, I'm a superhero. Like the excitement,
and she's so stoked.
I was so stoked for her. Like,
yeah.
Like, and I really love that they're really hitting home this idea that she is a fan that is becoming a hero. I think that's where we are starting to get this sort of meta qualities. We already got hints of it in Kate Bishop's character in Hawkeye. We got hints of it also with Peter Parker and Iron Man and wanting to be an Avenger and all that. But here we're seeing that the MCU has been so established for so many years in their own timeline that naturally there are going to be these fandoms.
Totally. I was just looking at her shirt to see if, I think you're right. I think it is the Wasp and Carol Danvers. And then who was the other one you mentioned?
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yeah. It's funny. It says, "Ladies, let's get information," but but it's like information. Like she really is a nerd. Like I'm stoked for to kind of see that, and she would see that and think like that's hilarious, and like it even looks like it's in a style that like maybe she made it herself. You know what I mean?
I
like
think so.
It's
I
very
think
possible.
that's my first impression is that because like her room is so cluttered with, and it's very much like in the comics, it's just pictures and all these sort of things. Like her whole wall is like a mood board or a memory wall or an inspiration wall, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
And I love that she's so creative, because I think she's inevitably going to make her own costume.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to feel very reminiscent, and I like that we've seen sort of different iterations, because I think their final costume that is very much a what they call a sari. It's very much like an Indian or Pakistani inspired clothing. It's going to represent her heritage and her culture really, really well. And they did that in the comics. They did that in the comics. So I think that's going to be really cool to see that translate into live action. We could obviously talk for hours about this. Loved it. Very excited for it.
Yeah, we're definitely doing a watch club for this as well. So we'll have weekly episodes
well, there you go.
out.
It's on the podcast, so we have to do it now.
We have to do it now.
We'll have to figure out schedules and stuff like that. But yeah, for sure, it's gonna be done. So, all right, well, that's it for trailer time. Some delicious trailers that we have for you. Good. But that brings us to the end of the show. But before we wrap, I thought we could share a little whatcha for our audience. Yeah. Something that you've watched, played, read, listened to. Anything that you think our audience should enjoy. Nate, what you been up to, bro?
Yeah, we've been super duper busy in the last, I'd say, week. We kind of got a little bit of a break. So I started watching and caught all the way up on Severance on Apple TV Plus.
Nice.
Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Dude, Adam Scott is in it, and he's phenomenal in it. He's doing such a good job. Zach Cherry, who's the guy that goes, "Yeah, Spider-Man, do a flip," like that guy. Yeah, like the guy on the bus. Yeah. He's in it as well. He's awesome. Britt Lauer is also in it, and who else is? Oh, John Turturro. Speaking of the Batman, John Turturro is in it, and he's
now you'll have seen him in two things.
He's so great. There we go. I've seen him in two things. Patricia Arquette and Christopher Walken is in the show. And I'm telling you, man,
the cast
like
is
just
stacked.
to give you a little tiny synopsis for this, basically the idea is these people work for a company that the information that they are working with is so top secret that they have chips implanted in their brain that when they leave the building, or basically when they go down an elevator or up an elevator, their mind is wiped. So their work life and their home life are completely separate. In fact, to the point where they are almost even different people in a way between the two spaces. And it's really, dude, it's really, really well done. It's directed by 6 of the episodes are done by Ben Stiller, and it's, dude, I'm really blown away with it. It's so good.
Yeah, man. The only reason I want to check it out is because of the stacked cast it has, and Ben Stiller is directing it, because he's a fantastic filmmaker.
Yeah, man. Adam Scott has worked with Ben Stiller before, a few times, obviously, and I was surprised, because honestly, I've not loved him in everything he's in. I mean, he also kind of plays. Last thing I saw him in, he was playing a dick in Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and you know was he in Step Brothers as well? He was in Step Brothers, right? He plays Derek or whatever.
Yeah. I think
the
Walter
guy's like singing.
Yeah, Walter Mitty was directed by Ben Stiller, was it not?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So yeah, man, I'm dude. I
Ben
cannot
Stiller's
recommend
muse.
it enough. It's really Well, I mean, I was what was it against Safdie's Muse and Uncut Gems? Yeah, man. I honestly, if you have access to Apple TV Plus in any way, please watch Severance, because it's dope. It's dope.
Nice, awesome. Well, for my whatcha, it's a series. We actually talked about it. The series is Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. It's on HBO Max and Crave in Canada.
Out?
Yeah, it's out now. It stars John C. Reilly, Quincy Isaiah, Jason Clarke, Devon Nixon, Gabby Hoffman. It has a very, very diverse cast. If you didn't catch it, you can obviously check IMDb, but it's the professional and personal lives of the 1980s Los Angeles Lakers, one of best sports teams, the most revered sports team. They basically helped redefine the industry of basketball and what it is now, in many cases. And honestly, like we were talking about it in that trailer time, and this sort of archival docu style, and like because of that, this show is awesome. It's totally Adam McKay, from the visual style and language of the movie to the fourth wall breaking moments that give us expositional information in a very comical way. And the look and feel with the archival docu style aesthetic, like the cinematography, everything's grainy. Sometimes it's, you said it looks like shit, like it does. And it can. The editing is frantic, very much like Don't Look Up.
Like Don't Look Up? Okay.
Yeah. Mixing, and it does play around with mixing the filmmaking aesthetics of today with the sort of retro tech filmmaking aesthetics of the past to give it its own look. It works. It works really, really well, in my opinion. Some of the characters do feel like characters. Like John C. Reilly's character is definitely rooted in more of a personality. But some of the more side characters feel more like lived in, if you will. Like they have lives, like they personality, and like they're able to feed off of the sort of characters that are John C. Reilly or Isaiah Quincy as Magic Johnson. So it's so good. From 2 episodes, I really enjoyed it, and I'm deeming it a must see. Man, like you gotta see it.
Wow,
a must see.
I gotta get on it.
Yeah, it's an HBO show. You'll like it.
How many episodes are out so far? Do you know?
Just 2.
Just 2. Okay, perfect. Well, because I'm between Severance and Our Flag Means Death, which we talked about on the podcast on Twig last week. Yeah, man, I need these shows, and I'm trying to space them out in a way, but they always all seem to come out on the same day. So it's like I'll binge them all on one day and then have nothing to watch throughout the week. So maybe this will be my next one.
And that was the thing too. It's like I started watching Bel-Air. I'm 3 episodes in. I'm probably behind by 2 though. And I feel like at this point I'm just gonna wait till it's finished, and I'll just watch it all, right? Or just
all through,
catch up or something. But for now, there's just so much going on, and that brings us to the end of this episode. Another This Week in Geek in the books. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks for tuning in wherever you listen to podcasts. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, and please feel free to leave us a glowing review. We always appreciate the love. You can always reach out to us. Ask us any questions about the news or trailers we've shared today, or anything of any sorts around anything we cover. And to do so, well, you can reach us by email. wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, or on Twitter @geekcentricyt, or on Instagram @wearegeekcentric. Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other episodes covering a variety of other content, and new content always coming out. Right now, we have our spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review for Turning Red, Pixar's latest movie, available now on Disney+. So if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, we got something for everyone. Also, we have our
spoiler-filled review, by the way, was so much fun.
Yeah, it was really, it was a great conversation.
Laughing so much.
Yeah, we had a great time, and we were joined by Megan Claire Draws and Joe Knows Photos. So we had a great time reminiscing and sharing our thoughts about this movie with full spoilers. So go check that out. Another great conversation was our spoiler-filled review for The Batman. We sat down and really hashed that out. So if you've seen the movie, go give that a listen. And upcoming, just around the corner, actually, we're going to have our Oscar prediction episode where Nate, myself, and Kevin, and a special guest who we've had on last year, Mike Hogan, will be joining us to kind of go through the selection. I'm excited to see what Kevin has in store this year. It's our third third time doing it. But yeah, that episode's going to drop. So be sure to subscribe so you know when our latest episodes drop. But until then, Nate, thank you for joining me for This Week in Geek. And as we say,
Pineapple on pizza. Love ya.
only if it's a Hawaiian. Peace.